Madam, what year is this?
2013.
One of the biggest things that Doctor Who fans absolutely despise is the hit BBC One soap opera drama, EastEnders. Now, if you know me, I am 100% in the minority opinion of this, as I honestly love EastEnders more than Doctor Who. Well, at least from what we got in 2020 of it. Now, why am I saying this? Because I will not be approaching this video as just a fan of a 57-year-old British institution, but also as a massive fan of now a 36-year-old British institution. So, here for this 36th anniversary of EastEnders, today I'm going to be reviewing Dimensions in Time. Now, let's begin with the titles. Not that horrible 90s rave theme. Let's listen to the current 90s soul theme of EastEnders, which is infinitely better, and is, in my opinion, one of the best themes in the history of the show. We then get to the first scene of the episode with the Ronnie, played by Gita, and her assistant Syrian, played by Sanjay, and two awful and distasteful CGI heads of the first and second Doctor, as Ronnie explains her plan, which is sciencey stuff because she is the Ronnie. And then I was seeing the fourth Doctor, an awful CGI looking place where he tries to warn his other incarnations about the plot, but no one can hear him. We then come back to Syrian as he's storing specimens in the Ronnies, and Syrian says that they're missing only one thing, a human. The Ronnie then rants about the Doctor with Syrian and says that she's obsessed and tries to remember why they came to Earth. So then the Ronnie and Syrian then throw the TARDIS into the Earth, and emerges from it is the seventh Doctor, played by Celeste McCoy, and Ace, played by Sophie Aldred. They're talking about stuff Seven and Ace talk about, and then the Doctor picks up a newspaper saying that it's 1973 and that he did not set the course for 1973, and that they have been taken off course.
1973?
All of a sudden, an explosion happens. The Doctor needs to relocate, and the Doctor turns into a sixth incarnation played by Colin Baker. And they look around the marketplace where Ace runs up to the stall and tries on a jacket. The man who's at the stall, Sanjay, played by Gita, offers Ace a discount on the jacket. All of a sudden, that woman who Jackie failed to save from the stolen Earth, Gita, played by Shabu Kapoor, gets angry at Sanjay for offering a discount. Gita then asks Ace if she likes it, and that'll be the rage in 1994. The Doctor confused, all of a sudden another explosion happens, and now we see the third Doctor, played by John Pertwee, who replaces the sixth Doctor, and Carmel Kazemi, played by Bonnie Langford, who replaces Ace. Carmel asks the Doctor what is happening, and the Doctor explains that everything is changing. The Doctor then approaches another stall and meets Pauline, played by Wendy Richard, trying to ask her what year it is, but Pauline ignores her and starts a conversation with Kathy, played by Gillian Tailforth. Pauline then finally pays attention to the Doctor and he starts messing through and insults her for her horrid prices. Carmel and Kathy then begin a discussion about fashion. The Doctor notes that Kathy mentions about the previous century. Carmel then asks her what year it is. Pauline interjects by saying that there's enough crazy people in the square already. And then two of the greatest moments in Doctor Who's long history happen.
Madam, what year is this?
2013.
We then cut to 1973 with the younger Pauline and Kathy. They're talking about the Kennedy assassination. Pauline mentioned that she knew where she was and told Kathy not to tell Arthur. We then see Six again, but now with Susan, played by Caroline Ford. Susan says that Six looks nothing like her grandfather. The Doctor notes science shit, and Susan calls out for Ian and Barbara and asks where her Doctor is. Now, with the TARDIS team being the fifth Doctor, played by Peter Davison, Nissa, played by Sarah Sutton, and Perry, played by Nicola Bryant. The Ronnie then has the group trapped and tells the Doctor to prepare for a very long journey. And then...
Say goodbye, Doctors! You're all going on a long journey!
A very long journey.
Ah, much better. So part 2 starts off where part 1 left off with the Ronnie trapped in the Fifth Doctor, Nissa, and Perry, and the Ronnie monologues about how no one else could have done such a trap. Now then, the Fifth Doctor tries to summon his other incarnations, but due to his weakened state, he's unable to do this. And all he's able to do is get him chained again, with him now turning back into 3, and Nissa and Perry becoming Liz, played by Carolyn Doll. Liz then goes to sacrifice herself to the Ronnie, but then Mandy comes in and saves Liz, and then the Ronnie points her gun in a very unthreatening way, and Mandy, being the idiot that she is, runs away. And out of nowhere, Mike shows up in Bessie and shoots the gun out of Ronnie's hands, and he gets the Third Doctor and escapes. And for some unknown reason, taken into a helicopter in the middle of nowhere, where they meet the Brigadier and he helps her into the helicopter. And all of a sudden, they're in the exact same location, and we get the only on-screen scene with the Brigadier and 6, and then explosion. We cut back to the square, and we are in the Arches with the Mitchell brothers, Phil, played by Steve McFadden, and Grant, played by Ross Kemp Entritt, and C. Romana, played by Lala Ward. Romana mentions that she's looking for the Doctor, and Grant points out where Dr. Legg, a much better doctor, lives. Romana then leaves the Arches and is kidnapped by the Ronnie. She walks by the Vic, and then Frank Butcher, played by Mike Reed, makes an awful joke.
Well, I've seen him thrown out of the Vic, but never dragged in.
And then, for some fucking reason, we then see 3 heading back to the TARDIS with Victoria? Yeah, this episode makes no bloody sense. They enter the TARDIS explosion. 7 then leaves the box where the Ronnie's TARDIS lands, and then out comes Rosa DeMarco, played by Louise Jameson, and then science shit, explosion. 7, Ace, and K9 do science shit, saving the heads of the first 2 incarnations, and forces the Ronnie TARDIS into the time thingy, and then the shit joke about how hard the Doctor is to get rid of. And then the end credits. What do I think of this story? Oh my god, it is so bad! The science makes no sense, the writing is crap, the directing is crap, the EastEnders regulars are crap, this entire special was crap, from the fact that it was for charity, and helped raise over £100,000 for charity! However, there's one thing that offends me deeply, something that drives me up the wall, something that needs to be vented. Now, I want to point out the massive flaws in Canon to the EastEnders stuff. And since I will eventually go into a full-on curse-slinging rant, I have asked a good friend of mine and fellow EastEnders fanatic to do this part. Please welcome from a member of the channel, Ben Windebank, where he will tear apart how much JNT and David Roden messed up the EastEnders lore in this special.
You're not the Doctor.
Yes, I am, Ace.
For some reason, Susie, the girl who had a threesome with Sam Mitchell in February 1993, decided to put on a leather jacket and pretend her name was Ace, only to walk around Wolford with a clown.
Hey, do you like that, love?
Sanjay and Gita aren't arguing.
What's happening?
Change. You.
Karma Kazemi is for some reason using the fake name Melanie Bush.
Well, shouldn't your Martin be looking after the stall?
Martin left EastEnders in 2007 and didn't return until December 2014, meaning he couldn't have possibly been looking after the stall for a whole of the year. Pauline died in 2006.
Kathy's dead.
Kathy died in 2006.
Hello, Phil.
Well, kinda.
Tim, wish my Arthur was still alive.
Arthur died in 1996. And this is supposed to be 2013, is it? And Pauline is still going on about him? What about Joe?
I see flares are back in fashion.
Flares were never back in fashion.
Yeah, everything for the last century seems to be having a comeback. Just wish my looks were.
When Kathy returned in 2015, her looks certainly were. And she still looked pretty much the same to how she did in the 90s, and nothing like that old bag John Nathan Turner seemed to think Kathy would become.
What year is this?
2013!
For the many reasons I've stated, this is literally impossible. Ignoring the fact that Pauline and Kathy's aging is all wrong, you could get away with saying this is about early 2006, with the assumption that Kathy for some reason returned from Africa to visit Wolford just before she died, but any other year afterwards, with Martin and everything, makes absolutely no sense.
I can remember exactly where I was when Kennedy was assassinated, but don't tell Arthur.
What exactly is Pauline implying here?
Danny? Yeah?
Was it another fling with Danny Taurus? A little hypocritical if you ask me, Pauline.
Ian, will you behave?
Just when you thought you could escape Ian Beale, there he is. The Vic was only actually painted red in 1992 after Grant burnt it down, so in 1973 it should have actually been brown.
Well, my skin's been great since I started using all over sunblock. I think it's right, it's a law.
So if Sarah Jane and Sharon were supposed to be friends in 2013, Sarah Jane should have been 62 in this scene, yet she's still wearing the Andy Pandy costume? Come on Sarah, it's not a crime to dress your age. Sharon seems to be dressed as some sort of glamour star in 2013, when in reality she just endlessly dressed like Miss Piggy in this era.
Law? Since when?
Who the hell thought it would be a good idea to add in a futuristic CGI train?
You gotta clear the streets, you're in terrible danger!
I really hope the scene with Pat is set in 1993, otherwise that'd be hella difficult to explain.
If you think that Mandy should be helping the doctor, there's one phone number, or if you think it's Big Ron, it's the other.
Considering the fact that on the 11th of November 1993 Big Ron had a heart attack, and was in hospital until the end of the year, as was part of a very big story which opened 1994, I'm for one glad that Mandy was chosen by the public, as Big Ron could never had physically helped the doctor out. Literally, he was in a hospital bed. That being said, at the time, Mandy and Aidan cleared off until the end of November on the 16th, so Mandy actually wasn't on the square during the time of broadcast. Really, the option should probably have been someone that was actually there at the time. Maybe Richard Cole could report the Rani for trespassing instead. That was very in character. Oh heck, more Ian Beale.
You said you locked it.
I did, someone must have broken in.
Grant didn't have anything to do with the Archers at this point, as in mid-1993, to get away from Sharon, Phil sold his share of the Vic to Grant, and Grant did the same to Phil with the Archers. Really, Grant should have been the one asking if Phil had locked it, not the other way round.
Well, you won't find him in here. He lives at number 1 Albert Square over there. I suggest you leave.
You've seen the doctor?
Yeah. Dr. Leggies, he ain't Dr. Around here.
Alright, that bit was quite good. You can have a sin removed.
Well, I've seen him thrown out of the Vic, but never dragged in.
Who is Frank talking to? Is Pat just stood there in front of him? Now, I can't be bothered to actually research if Frank had seen someone being dragged into the Vic before, but I'm certain he probably likely had. Either that, or the scene took place in 1973. However, we know Frank wasn't around Wolford at that time, and I really hope it wasn't 2013, as Frank was dead.
Go.
Not before she cloned me, though. She's got a menagerie of clones in there.
Now, I know Rosa DeMarco was kind of supposed to be Italian, but I think John Nathan Turner misunderstood just exactly how exotic Italy was with this costume. The theme was supposed to be jazzy, not acid house.
Thank you, Ben. So that is our message in time. Yeah, that was hell. 0 out of 10. Now, please comment, like, and subscribe. And I'll see you guys next month, where I'll be making a response video to one of the videos on this channel. Until then, goodbye.